Welcome, everyone, back to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey, and today we've got one more episode to get you ready for your drafts if you haven't drafted already. And this is going to be one where we tell you don't draft a certain guy. So if you've already drafted and you got this guy, I'm sorry. We should have told you ahead of time, but we didn't. But here we go, Jeff. We each got a player that we can't do it. We can't draft this guy at the price he's going for in auctions. And that's the difference too when you auctions and snake. I don't even know, to be honest, anymore where these guys are going in snake drafts because I've literally stopped paying attention to snake drafts, if I'm being honest. It's all about auction and the value and the price you're getting them for. So for me, I can't go after one of these guys. Jeff, who's yours?
Yeah, and we'll just come out and say it. We're not going to be talking about guys that are in contract dispute or injured.
No Taylor, no Jacobs.
Yeah,
you get it. Yeah,
that's easy. We aren't doing that. For me, I actually could name a couple people if it was just straight auction, but the person I'm completely off of that I absolutely will not pay for, he's currently going for $25, but it's Najee Harris.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
And it probably not for the same reasons everyone's talking about. I'm not, I know Craig loves Jalen Warren. As far as he put him on his sleeper list, he's been kind of tracking him, and I get that. But I think for me, even though I do think that offense will probably take a little step forward, if that occurs, you probably don't need to run Najee quite as much. And it just feels like he is good at that grind him out role, but I kind of seen what I'm going to see. And the first 2 years, the year number one, he had 307 rushes for 1,200 yards, 7 touchdowns. That was just under 4 yards per carry, 3.9. And he was able to get quite a few. He had 94 targets, 74 receptions. That translated to 467 yards and 3 touchdowns. Pretty darn good. You're kind of like, okay, well, we're about to see what we're going to get. That changed quite a bit in the next year. And I know you could talk about QB or whatever.
He did have a washed Roethlisberger.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. So you're kind of like, what is it going to be? But the year right after that, his attempts went down to 272 from 307. His yards and average was about the same, 3.8. So I'm not seeing
ugly.
Yeah, I'm not seeing a jump in that. And he only had 7 touchdowns. Is the offense going to be better to the point where he's getting a lot more goal line carries? And the one thing I will say about Jalen Warren is I do think that his numbers for receiving will not bounce back, because instead of having 74 receptions, he had 41. Instead of almost 500 yards receiving, he had 230. And he still had 3 touchdowns, but that could actually not bounce back at all, go down. I think you're just seeing Najee kind of getting capped in that offense for this year. Maybe he'll show he has a little more explosiveness than we thought. Maybe, the line was really more banged up than even I realized. But I think with everything going on there, Najee will be Najee. He'll be relatively safe, but I don't think you're really getting a huge return, and I don't think that you can get any more uptick. So as soon as I see that $25, which I think he'll go for a little more in a real auction, just because you're looking at who you can get, I'm just out. I can't see the value.
He's always been, his value was a volume guy. Like you said, that was his entire value after year one. His efficiency was terrible on what he actually did, but he got so much volume and he caught so many passes that, of course, it's like, this guy's just safe. And I don't think he's safe anymore. Roethlisberger was dumping everything off, so that's why he got the catches. That's never going to repeat itself. I just don't see. I think Jalen Warren, well, I don't know if I'm not going to predict that Jalen Warren takes over the backfield, because I don't think that's going to happen necessarily. But I think he's going to eat into a lot of it. And it's like, if Najee ever were to go down, I think Jalen Warren would be really good. But Najee's not going to get the volume he did. It's just not going to happen. So absolutely, I'm avoiding him on everything. I'm never drafting him. Just never. Yeah. Never going to do it. All right, I have one guy. I'm going to go up the board. I'm going to probably make some people mad. But I can't do it at the price, and I'm just never going to do this ever. It's Cooper Kupp at $54. I'm never going to do it ever. Cooper Kupp had an amazing 2021, right? Just absolutely one of the best seasons you'll ever see from a wide receiver ever. It was that good. And last year, honestly, he was on a pretty good pace too. His yards were going to be down, though. His touchdowns were going to be down. His receptions were up there, but his yards per catch actually went down a decent amount from 2021 to 2022. He played 9 games. He played quite a bit, but it was going to be very good. It was going to be a very good season, but it was going to go down. And now Stafford's been hurt, and you hear that they wanted Stafford to take a pay cut, and he didn't. And the team is not the same team. Offensive line's not the same offensive line as 2021. Nothing about this team is the same. And also, Cooper Kupp's been hurt in the preseason to even top it off. He still is not back to practice. And we're still just paying $54 in a $200 budget for him. I can never see myself doing that. I cannot spend $54 on him. He's not that much less than Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson. To me, that's not enough of a difference. Like, okay, I'm going to spend a couple more dollars to get one of those guys every single time. I just never could do it. Or I can save money and go save $15 and get Garrett Wilson and get somebody else with it. I'll take Garrett Wilson and Miles Sanders, I'll say it, instead. Or wide receiver wise, I'll take Garrett Wilson and Brandon Ayuk rather than Cooper Kupp. I'm just never going to draft Cooper Kupp for $54. Maybe it works out. Maybe he has another great season in him. I'm not going to be the one that benefits from it, though, because I'm not taking that chance at $54. Just absolutely will not draft him.
Yeah, I'm with you. We were talking about this before. Yeah. Just so many kind of red flags and worries about whether or not he's going to be the same guy and all that. I get why people will take the shot at him. I do. I personally will not, but I get why, because he was so much better than the next wide receiver. He was amazing. Ridiculous. But major injury, you're 100% correct about Stafford and that team. I mean, after they won the Super Bowl, they were a shell of themselves immediately. And good for them. They won the Super Bowl, whatever. But
it worked out.
Yes, it worked out 100%. But he right now, you're absolutely right. I mean, even the jump from, Stephon Diggs at number 5 technically would be 45.5. Cooper Kupp is already an $8 difference from that. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, man, and you don't know if he's going to be healthy. I cannot throw that kind of money at him. I just can't.
He's going to be doubled covered so much. He had actual receivers in 2021 that helped, that were on the field that helped him. Now he has Van Jefferson and Ben Skoranek. Like, who are people going to pay attention to?
Yeah.
Just Cooper Kupp. That's it. So just never going to do it. $54. Sorry if you're a Cooper Kupp guy, but never going to do it. So there we go. 2 guys. We just can't. I had some other guys I thought about too. But.
Me too. There's a lot of guys up here that are so much money that you have to think like, and running back is kind of an easy one to fall into because there's a couple of guys here that have a lot of carries under their belt.
Yep, there's a lot of those. And then I'll say I don't think I'd get DK Metcalf for $30 either.
There's a bunch of guys that I'm like,
So there we go. Do not draft those guys if you have them already in your team. It's not the end of the world, but probably could have got a better team. So you can make it work. But that'll do it for this one. Talk to you guys next time.